Good morning, everyone from Madison, Wisconsin. I'm sitting in my study at home, and I'm really happy to be with you all this morning. I am looking at the chat box and seeing many friends from all over the world. Please use the chat box to tell us where you're from and maybe use a word or two to describe how you're feeling right at this moment as we come together. The nonprofit associated with our center, Healthy Minds Innovations, is putting on these freely offered meditation practices due to the generosity of our donors. And they're offered every day, Monday through Friday. So please join us for them on a regular basis if you are able. I'd like to spend a few moments as we're checking in with each other to just say a little bit about where things are in our center and how we are framing this extraordinary predicament and uncertainty in which we find ourselves throughout the world today. As I've said on several occasions recently, we prefer to think of the public health recommendation as physical distancing rather than social distancing. And this opportunity is one of the many in which we can be socially connected while still remaining physically distant. And also, it's important to reflect on how the act of physical distancing is not only something we do for ourselves, but it's really for the benefit of others so that we don't become viral vectors and spread the virus. I see lots of comments in the chat box reflecting a very wide range of emotion, from gratitude to being overwhelmed to being anxious, and people from all over the world, Romania, different parts of Europe, Latin America, Mexico. Wonderful to have all of you join us today. This week, we are focusing our practices on insight, one of the 4 pillars of well-being in the framework that we've developed. The 4 pillars of well-being are awareness, connection, insight, and purpose. And insight is really about self-knowledge. It's about curiosity about how our minds work, particularly in relationship to the narratives that we carry around about ourselves. And in a few minutes, we'll do some practices related to insight, which can be extremely important, particularly in helping to cultivate resilience. And resilience is something I think all of us recognize is very useful, particularly at this challenging moment in human history. We think about resilience in scientific terms as the rapidity with which you recover from adversity. The more quickly you come back down to baseline following some challenge, the more resilient you are. And that is a powerful contributor to well-being. And as we've talked about in many other contexts, well-being is not something that just is in your head. Well-being is an integrated mind-body condition. It has powerful effects on the body in systems such as the endocrine and immune systems, and it may even modulate our response not only to the psychological challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic, but perhaps even the biological assault that this virus has on our biology. Of course, that is an open-ended question. We don't know anything about that at this point in time, but previous research does indicate that For example, in work that we ourselves did, that even after a short course of meditation over the course of 2 months, we find that people respond more effectively to a flu vaccine. And so this is indicative of a more robust and healthier immune response in this case. So let's spend a few moments now settling in, and we'll do a little bit of practice together. And then after we do this practice, we'll have a little opportunity for everyone to check in by comments in the chat box. And so let's begin to bring our awareness into our bodies and to settle down. We can take a couple of deep breaths. And with the exhale, we can let out whatever tension we may be holding. And just exhale deeply. And we can leave our eyes open or closed, whichever is more comfortable, and sitting in an upright but comfortable posture, not too tight and not too loose. And let's begin this period of practice by reminding ourselves why we're here, why we choose to spend our time doing a practice such as this. And let's see if we can find in ourselves an altruistic motivation, recognizing that when we have a calm mind and a warm and open heart, it's beneficial not only for ourselves, but it's beneficial for all of those that we interact with, all of the other beings that we touch, directly or indirectly. And so let's spend a few moments reflecting on our motivation, and finding this altruistic sensibility. And let's take the first couple of minutes of practice to simply feel our bodies, bring awareness into our bodies, and noticing whatever might be present. It could be pleasant, it could be unpleasant, it could be neutral. Not trying to fix anything, not trying to judge anything, but simply bringing awareness into our bodies, feeling our feet on the floor or our sit bones on the chair or cushion. And appreciating this quality of groundedness. One of the important aspects of insight is a deep experiential appreciation for our interconnectedness with others, with the planet. That we are not isolated islands of selves. And so let's now reflect on all of the people and all of the situations and conditions that are responsible for enabling us to all be here right now at this moment. So let's spend a few moments reflecting on how you ended up here. How did you learn about these practices that are being offered? How did you learn about our center? Who in your life might have introduced you? And it goes way beyond that. In order to be here, we need to be alive, be sustained. So let's reflect on all of the individuals in our lives who help bring us to this moment. Who enabled our sustenance. And now let's bring into our mind and our heart one or two of the individuals on whom we were reflecting. And let's notice whatever thoughts you have that may be associated with these people, and simply notice these thoughts. No need to change the thoughts or to get lost in the stream of thoughts, to judge the thoughts, but simply notice. Become aware of all the thoughts and maybe sensations and feelings that are associated with this person as you bring her or him into your mind and your heart. And then maybe choose another individual. And bring this person into your mind and your heart. And again, simply notice whatever thoughts, feelings are associated with this other person. And now, let's move on to another component related to insight. Our minds and our brains are prediction machines. We're constantly making predictions about the future. So let's bring into our mind a situation. It may be the current COVID pandemic, or it may be some aspect of it, which is very salient. And as we bring this situation into our mind, let's become aware of the predictions that we're making about it. Whether those predictions are pessimistic or optimistic. The goal here is not to change the predictions in any way. The practice is simply to notice that we're always making these predictions, often unconsciously. And this is an invitation to bring into awareness what often operates under the hood in a very unconscious way. So let's bring a situation into our mind and simply become aware of the predictions we're making about this situation. And again, there is no need to alter in any way these predictions. This is simply an exercise of noticing that we're making these predictions all the time. Now, let's bring into our mind something positive. And let's see if we can find something positive within the extraordinary challenge of the current pandemic and the incredible stress and anxiety and uncertainty associated with it. See if we can find something that may be positive within this, whatever it might be, however small. or however large. And let's become aware of whatever predictions you may be making about that aspect of the current situation. How is that affecting you? How might you envision this aspect going forward? It may be less consumption of perhaps unnecessary things. It may be spending more time at home. It may be decreasing your carbon footprint. Whatever it might be. Let's simply bring this positive aspect into our minds and notice whatever predictions our mind makes around that. And now, as we draw this period of practice to a close, let us reflect on how we can bring whatever insight, whatever glimmer of hope, whatever benefit, and reflect on how we can bring this out into the world. And it may be when you see others to notice something positive in them, to appreciate what they may be doing to help the collective good in this situation. Whatever it might be. And even reflect on what you might do in a very practical way. If you saw another person as you're walking from a distance, wishing them well, wishing them health, so for those of you who have had your eyes closed, we can open them now. And if you care to use the chat box to perhaps say in a word or two how you're currently feeling. And let me take this opportunity to remind all of you that we have an app called the Healthy Minds Program, which we're making freely available through the generosity of our donors. And we can use this app to help sustain our practice on a daily basis. There are meditations every day, so please feel free to check out the app on the App Store or wherever you download apps. And also, Healthy Minds Innovations provides daily meditations at different times, Monday through Friday, so please avail yourself of that opportunity. And the practice every Monday is in Spanish for our friends in the Spanish-speaking world. So I'm very grateful to all of you for joining today, and we really appreciate this opportunity for collective practice. There is a palpable sense, I think, of hope when we can all come together in this way. So let me end by expressing my deepest gratitude to all our friends and supporters, and wishing you to be safe and to be healthy. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much.